Okay, Shu, here we go. So the first thing we need to do once after we've done our property leads and we have our pictures, we acquired the pictures and the video, then we're going to start our research, which is step number 2. Now in the research, you already did the assessor records, which was video 1, right? Finding information on the assessor site. And then video 2, working how to receive the data and manage the data with the intro into the G Drive there, working with G Drive, which is Google Drive. You've learned, hopefully, how to upload YouTube video to YouTube, of course, and then share it with me and any other parties that you might need to share it with, which could be your estimating team, your valuation team, funding sources, investors. When I say funding sources, this could be a hard money lender or a private money lender. I always use private money for all these deals. I haven't used a bank loan and literally since 2006. And then buyers, sellers, contractors, vendors, etc. Okay, so hopefully you know how to do the upload to YouTube. Next is this video number 3, which is Zillow and Trulia. Okay, and it's getting familiar with the property with these online resources. Now here is Zillow, www.zillow.com. I'm going to give you an example of one of my last sales, which was last year. I moved up into the mountains as of last year because all the development opportunities came back. But this was a property that I picked up, and just to give you an example, it'll give you all the fun facts about it, right? It's 5 bedrooms, it's 3 baths, it's 3,000 square feet, okay? It tells you it's a single-family home, tells you when it was originally built in 1957, last sold in May for $324,900. That's what I sold it for. The finished basement, it shows you what size the finished basement is. It says that it has a garage, it says that it's a 1-car garage. And then here it gives you the Zestimate details. So it gives you the Zestimate on what the Zillow thinks it's worth, okay, which is $321,682. Now this is usually pretty inaccurate, okay. It's just something to go by, but you don't use this as a bulletproof number, but you always note it. So they say it's worth $321. Just to give you an example, this is what I bought it for. So it was bought here. You can see right here, boom, it was bought for sale. $140,000, okay, in February of 2013. That's what I bought it for. And then this is something weird. I don't know what this is, but I bought it for $140,000, and then I sold it for $324,900 right here, okay. So you can see we purchased here October of 2012. We sold it in May of 2013. So basically 6 months later, okay, this was a pretty involved rehab. Bought for $140,000, sold for $324,900, basically $325,000. Okay, so this is really good to use these and use this. It's called a trend. So it shows you the trend, the historic trend. Shows you 1 year, 5 year, and 10 years. I always like to see the 10 years because it shows the sales. So to give you an example, if we were coming in on this property and I was doing the research on it, I'd be right about here, right? So Zillow is saying it's worth right around, that's where I bought it, right there. This was the prior purchaser, bought it for $219,000. They lost it to me. It was a foreclosure, an REO, and then I picked it up for $140,000 from, I believe it was Fannie Mae, and then I sold it a while, after that for $325,000. So it'll tell you what it thinks the valuation is. So back then, when I bought it, they were saying it was worth about $160,000, but I bought it for $140,000. And then when I sold it, Zillow was saying it was worth about $265,000, and I sold it for $325,000. So you can see that it's not real accurate, okay? But it does show you the trend. So right here we see that in December of 2005, pretty flat, pretty flat, pretty flat. And then you see here in December of 2011 is when the market crashed in Denver. Or in Nevada, but in the Denver area, and then it started coming up again, right? The trend started rising again. So it'll give you an idea of the trend. It also gives you a rent estimate. Now that way you kind of know what you can rent it for if you're looking for a buy and hold, and then this is what it gives you a forecast for next year. So it'll give you the 3.3% right here. It's telling you that this market is trending up, and also this here, this trend set, tells you for the zip code, what the trend is for the city, and what the trend is specifically for this home in this neighborhood. Okay, so all valuable information. So you want to take that all into consideration. Then it gives you the sales, sold for $324,900, right? Listing removed. You can expand this. Sold for $140,000. That was to me. Prior to that, it was listed for sale for $174,500, pending sale, back on market. So it gives you the history of what was going on with that property going way back, right? So interesting. Gives you the tax history. This is also a link to the assessor website, okay? So you can get in there and access the assessor website through the tax history. It'll give you the taxes for the last handful of years and tell you what you're going to be paying annually on that property. It'll give you an example of what the mortgage is, basic rates, what's going on at 3.65. So it gives you a little bit of information there. It gives you information on the neighborhood. So you can go into here, home values. You can see kind of what the averages are in the area. Now this one was $325. I sold this one too. I bought and sold this one, $280. But it shows you that it's higher than all the other values in the neighborhood for the most part, except for this one. The reason that is these were all built back in the 1950s, and they're now just being turned over, remodeled, and resold. So that's how you get your valuation, okay? Now your walk score, this is pretty important. You can go into here, and walk score measures how walkable an address is based on distance to nearby amenities. So this is something to learn. It shows you how close it is to, a movie theater, restaurants, shopping, parks, okay? And then you can use this map as well to kind of zoom out and tour the neighborhood. Now this has a park right here, right? 2 blocks away. It also, which you can't see on this map, but it has a brand new, what's called the Y line coming through, I believe on Oberon, for the monorail that goes downtown. So great for people who want to commute to downtown Denver but want to live in the suburbs, okay? It also gives you nearby schools, so you can do your research on the schools and if they're good, bad, or, excellent, like Cherry Creek, okay? So that right there is a great resource. You can go into listings here and find out what's for sale. So let's go back here, listings. You'll see what's for sale, okay? You can tour these properties by clicking on the link and then taking a look. It's a for sale by owner, okay? It doesn't give a price here. It says $7,000. That's incorrect. But you can take a look, and you can usually, it only has one picture, but you can go through the pictures. You can see if it's comparable to what you have and get an idea of what's going on specifically in your neighborhood by cruising around and just looking at what's for sale, okay? And you can also, just so you know, you can click on these. So you can just cruise around by, right through the neighborhood and click on any of these properties. So here's one that's $280, right? I'm going to click on this. Let's click on this one. So here we go, $249. Here's one listed for $220. See what it looks like. So it's real small, right? It's 220,970 square foot, real small, okay? So a great resource. Get to know how to use Zillow, and then you're going to want to go ahead and go to Trulia, www.trulia.com. This is a lot like Zillow, but it's a little bit different. It brackets a little bit differently. So you want to research both, use both websites to get an idea of what you're dealing with. I put in the same exact property, 6085 Dudley Street, right? We purchased it for $140,000, sold it for $325,000. And just to go through it, it gives you the same information. What's going on for public records? 5 bedrooms, right? 1,370 square feet up. It doesn't say the square footage downstairs, but it says style, ranch, rambler, right? So more information. Sometimes between the two websites, you'll get a full picture of what's going on there. If one website doesn't have enough information, see, so this was sold $216,000. This is incorrect, right? Because we bought it for $140. So it's missing one sale, right? It's missing one sale. So that's why you always want to check both websites in order to make sure that you get all of the necessary information that you can between the two. But this has a nice neighborhood information, right? Schools. This has a better crime information part of the site. so you can see the details on crime. It'll tell you, how hot the area is. So this is in, let's see here, we're right here. So it's a green, so it's very low crime, which is good. Gives you, what kind of criminal mischief, property crime, theft, what's been going on in the area, right? If you see a lot of red in an area, a lot of red, and it's in your neighborhood, be aware of that and make sure your offer is going to reflect that information. Amenities, this is great for amenities. Where's the nearest amenities, right? So zoom out a little bit. We have some restaurants over here. We have shopping, right? Really nice. It's kind of surrounded by a lot of amenities, right? And then you want to look at the reviews of the restaurants. These are all 4.5 stars. That's great. So a really good area. I know this area, but very positive. So before you have boots on the ground or after you have boots on the ground, it's nice to be able to find out if your theory is confirmed, that it is a lower crime area or that it is a high crime area, and you need to really beat down that offer price because the only people that's going to appeal to is a bunch of hoodlums, right? Now here's your transit. It shows the bus transit. It does not show the monorail link yet. And by the way, it's right down here, and it is there. So that's something you would know by driving the neighborhood, okay, and talking to people. So, and then it has a nice, estimates around what's going on around, property values around it. You can zoom in or zoom out, right, to get an idea of what's going on around it. So you have 307 here, right? So you have some stuff bracketing the value, 282. So it's a little high for the area, but we know this area, and that's how I came up with the 324.9 number, is because we were setting a trend, because nobody had renovated in literally decades. So we were the first person to set the trend in that neighborhood. So that is how you use Zillow and Trulia to get some more information, bracketing that value, getting to know those neighborhoods, those amenities, the crime, the transportation, etc. Hope this has been informative, and we'll see you on the next one.